I've hit play a few times on this, trying to find the right speed or momentum. And the truth is, I'm fighting the words of little comments that I hold on to of, oh, look how zesty he is, or you speak so slow. And I think beyond just taking the information of XRP and breaking it down in a way that is helpful, I'm also working to just be myself and fight through the noise of other people's opinion or need for validation. So I thought that was like important to dive in before I kept trying to get the words right or get the flow right. Because the truth is, I'm just a human, and I can find myself getting more wrapped up in negative comments from invisible profiles than the actual true, thoughtful words of appreciation that come from the countless of people that I'm starting to connect with on this page. So we'll dive in. Some days I do catch myself asking how many more of these videos are going to promise tomorrow's the day until everything changes. And I've watched many of these videos, and honestly, they've really kept me alive in this space for many years. They kept me hopeful, they kept me going, but they've also exhausted me. Because the reality is, this entire transition, this entire industry, this entire moment is completely out of my control. I believe in the technology. I see the signs of the movement. I actually feel the shifts happening in real time. But no matter how hard I wish, no matter how detailed or thorough my research is, and no matter how refined my words are, I'm still a bystander in a world that is changing. And I don't have any external validation to tell me that I'm not crazy for believing what I see. And before I dive into like another breakdown of XRP, I wanted to just pause and admit something even more real. I honestly would not still be here if nothing was moving. Something is moving quietly underneath the noise in a way I feel even when I can't fully explain what I feel and see happening. And that's the part that no one actually says out loud, in my opinion. I'm not here because I think tomorrow is the day everything changes. I'm here because the technology keeps advancing. The world keeps shifting. And even when the price doesn't reflect it, I can't shake the sense that something real is happening beneath the surface. And once I admit that to myself, everything starts to click a little bit more. Money moves slower than information. That's the heart of it. That's why I'm making these videos. Not to hype anything, not to promise anything, but to finally answer the question that I don't think I've actually stopped to ask myself. What is XRP truly? And why does it matter at all? So if you're new here, my sincere welcome and thank you. And I use XRP here on this channel as a lens to understand how money is moving in real time so that I can navigate this space with clarity instead of chaos. Money today moves slower than information. That's the kind of simple gist of it. I can currently send a message, a video, a song across the world in seconds. But to move money, it crawls. There are paper approvals, waiting periods, fees on top of fees. Every delay at checkout, every missing payment, every international wire that takes days to process. They all come from systems built for a different century. And those delays don't just cost time, they trap capital. Literally trillions of dollars just sitting, waiting to be moved. That's the world XRP was built to fix. Most people, even myself at times, still treat crypto like a lottery ticket. Something that you buy and hope goes up in the future. But here's the truth. XRP is not that. What it is a bridge asset, a connector between currencies. And for me, trying to treat XRP like a lottery ticket at times doesn't mean I don't feel what it's like to be early to something that isn't fully built yet. Honestly, it feels kind of like showing up to a football game hours early before the start time. I can get there early. The stadium is basically empty. The field crew is laying the turf. The cameras are being calibrated and set up. The staff is taping off sections and testing equipment. There's a quietness in the air that almost feels loud at the same time. And I see people walking past me, or I think I would see people walking past me with a look like, why did you come here so early? And I hear the impatience around me as I think about this scenario. The boredom, the judgment, the sound of tailgates and celebrations beginning outside the stadium. And even my own thoughts asking me why I'm sitting here so long before anything happens. Sometimes I can get restless. Sometimes real life pulls at me. There's responsibilities, bills, pressure, everything that makes me question my timing. But the hardest part for me is holding my seat through all of this. Because sitting there early means that I get to see things that most people never notice. The setup, the subtle shifts, the signs that a game is going to happen, even if no one else believes it yet. It doesn't mean I know the outcome, because I don't. It doesn't mean I know the timing. It doesn't mean that I will be able to tell how it will, picture how it will imagine itself or how the game will show up. It just means I showed up early for reasons that matter to me. And I'm learning to trust that. And some days it's really difficult to trust just that. Today, when banks move money across borders, they keep pre-funded accounts all over the world. Pockets of money parked ahead of time so payments don't get stuck. It works, but it's also slow. It's also expensive, and it ties up liquidity. XRP removes that step, simply as that. Instead of keeping money parked, it moves value on demand. For example, dollars can go in, XRP then acts as a bridge for just a few seconds, and then pesos can come out the other side, cleared and confirmed almost instantly. That confirmation happens on the XRP ledger. And you can think of it like a spreadsheet that is shared. Everyone can see it, but no one can secretly edit this spreadsheet. Every transaction is public, permanent, and timestamped. But the power of the ledger isn't just transparency. It's how it stays honest. The XRP ledger doesn't use mining, it uses consensus, which is independent validators that are run by universities, developers, individuals, and payment companies. They compare notes every few seconds. When about 80% agree, the ledger closes. There's no rewards, there's no competition, no energy waste, just accuracy verified in seconds. Ripple, the company, helped build tools that use the ledger. and that's RippleNet. And it's a software that lets banks and institutions plug into this infrastructure and actually move money the way we move information. But Ripple doesn't control the XRP ledger. The ledger runs independently, validated by participants around the world. However, Ripple does hold a significant portion of XRP. Most of it is locked in escrow, and they release small amounts over time to fund operations and grow the ecosystem. From my research, I've concluded Ripple is a major stakeholder, but not the owner. And that is a distinction that really matters, because the network would keep running even if Ripple disappeared tomorrow. And Ripple's expansion hasn't just been hype or like news articles. It comes through real moves. First up is Medico with institutional grade custody. Second, we have standard custody, which offers regulatory strength. And then we have Hidden Road, which is a partnership that expands access to global liquidity and prime brokerage. Each move builds actual use cases around the ledger, and these aren't narratives, these are real use cases. And to be honest, here is where it gets really difficult for me. Because on paper, all of this should mean something. But the price doesn't always reflect progress. And when coins with no utility at all, no clarity, and no long-term purpose take the spotlight, it's discouraging. It makes me question myself. It makes me feel alone for believing what it is that I see. And it makes this entire space feel like something that I'm deeply invested in, emotionally, mentally, financially, yet at the same time completely powerless to influence. So hope feels like the only thing that I can actually control. But sometimes too much hope can also feel dangerous for me. And that's exactly why I needed to make this video in particular. Because when I understand what this technology really is, why it exists, and that I also accept that I have no control over how or when it moves, the noise quiets. And I can stop reacting, and I can start seeing the bigger picture again. So when I get overwhelmed, I can come back to this. XRP Ledger settles in seconds. It costs fractions of a penny, and since 2012, it has never missed a beat. The internet made information instant. Now, the world is rebuilding the rails that move value. XRP isn't the whole story, but it's one of the tools that keeps showing up in the places where real money needs real settlement. So, this is what XRP is for me. Not a chart, not a rumor, not a promise. It's infrastructure, sitting beneath one of the biggest financial transitions of my lifetime. And if I understand this part, I think I can stop reacting to the noise. And I believe I'll start seeing, and more importantly, knowing where all this is headed. If this has helped something click for you, please share it with someone that might be trying to make sense of this space, because this space is confusing. Or subscribe. I'd love to have you join my little tribe that's forming. And also, if you want to keep exploring the system behind the system along with me. I'm James Harris. This is layer one, and there's lots more to explore, so I hope you join me again. Thank you so much. See you next time.